Hello, hello, hello. This is Brian Gormley again with another edition of Where in Greater DC. Have a lot of fun shooting all over the DC-Baltimore region area, different location each week. Each time we have you send a guest in of our filming location to support at Cornerstone Properties, homeinfo.com. This week's no different. We are filming in a place that is probably familiar for many people in the northern part of our region. And I'm looking for, if you can send this guest to support at Cornerstone Properties, homeinfo.com, that restaurant that is right in the middle of my viewer. It's right in the water. There you can see kind of the back of it, the white letters on the back. I'm kind of intentionally shooting from a place that doesn't just immediately give it away. But if you've been to Baltimore and you've been on the water, you know where I'm talking about. Really tasty crab, so definitely come up here and give it a shot if you're ever in this neighborhood. So talking today about Freddie, Fannie, GSE reform. As many people have heard, there's been a lot of talk on the Hill to consolidate, to eliminate, to disband, to rejuvenate the GSEs. These are the government-sponsored enterprises, most notably known as Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. They are the monolith giants in the mortgage industry. Basically, they're this big secondary market players that have provided a lot of liquidity to the market and allowed the housing boom to the extent that it existed back in the early 2000s, and even today. It basically provides a cheap conduit of money to flow into the housing area, and because people know if you're originator, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, even and especially the smaller lenders, you can get rid of your paper, you can sell it, and you can make new loans. So there's definitely a place for them, but of course they've come under sharp criticism because they've lost so much money, and they represent big government. There's certainly talk that we should just consolidate the two into one, and of course that would make even more centralized the power that they have already. As many people know, if they come up with a dictate, then the rest of the market just follows. So if there's a requirement from Freddie or Fannie or both, then guess what? Everyone modifies their paper to accommodate that lending condition or whatever. So pros and cons. Obviously, if you're going to be an even bigger entity, you've got to have some sort of accountability and transparency. I think there's a very large concern that the lending market has suffered as a result of poor decisions by Freddie and Fannie. On the other hand, of course, you get rid of these secondary market players, and you get rid of a lot of liquidity, and you see interest rates shoot up, you see housing prices go way down. You see a lot of problems in the housing industry that, at least as it stands right now, that don't exist. So there are definitely pros and cons. From a short sale perspective, obviously in addition to the value ramifications of eliminating the GSEs, there's also just they from a pure short sale standpoint, these guys are extremely anti-investor, very, very much against people who are trying to buy properties for profit, and it's amazing the sort of the onerous requirements that are put on these short sale approval letters that prevent people from buying and making some money on real estate. So in that regard, it certainly would be refreshing if we could get some loosening of those requirements, but from a liquidity standpoint, it's hard to argue that the benefits that have come to the housing industry as a result of their existence. Of course, now in the last few quarters, they've actually turned a profit, so they're back to being profitable as opposed to I think it was up to about $300 billion of losses that they had over the hard years 2007 to 2011 or 12. And now, if they're profitable, it becomes a lot more difficult to do away with them or to have substantial reform. So anyway, there's this debate in Congress.